Self-storage is big business and the answer to our overcrowded homes.
Oh, God. You don't remember what is in those boxes?
But some have taken their storage hoarding too far.
This is going to take longer than I thought.
I thought you sold this.
Clinging on to things they never see or need.
All my life is in our storage.
And it's costing them a fortune.
We've had the storage for over 6 years now, and we've probably spent almost £20,000.
I'm Maggie Mackenzie, and I'm an expert in clearing junk and people's excess baggage.
This is my mum. In fact, this is my mum's ashes.
I'll be asking hoarders to unlock the doors of their units, empty out their stash.
It's been a while since we've been here.
I can smell the mildew.
And choose to either keep it,
I'm feeling a little emotional.
skip it, or sell it. Our antiques expert will then pull out any hidden gems.
I would give you a cheque today of £18,000 for this plate.
Yes, that's what I like to see.
To take to auction and make some hard cash. In today's show, we meet two hoarders whose storage habits are intruding on their marriage. One who can't part with his beloved collection.
I was thinking it was going to be easy, but now it's going to be a bit of a wrench.
Yeah, they've got to go.
While the other can't even remember what's in storage.
When do you reckon the last time we used this stuff?
In the 90s.
Can our hoarders justify their stash, or will they be consigned to history forever? Welcome to Storage Hoarders. I'm in Birmingham to help two hoarding couples put an end to their big storage bills when I ask them to keep, skip or sell their unwanted belongings. Our first storage hoarder in need is football fanatic John Nichols. He's spent nearly £180 in just a few months storing his collection of football programmes. Wife Wendy has had enough. So does he think he has a hoarding problem?
I'd describe myself as a collector rather than a hoarder.
John and Wendy live in Walsall in the West Midlands, a stone's throw from John's beloved football club for which he has a passion, collecting all things West Bromwich Albion.
First started watching West Brom from about 1968, when I was about 9 years old. First year we won the FA Cup. Not a bad start, and ever since that we've won nothing else since.
At first, wife Wendy was happy to indulge in his obsession, even allowing their front drive to be paved with the football club's initials. Wendy enjoys collecting the odd sentimental ornament or two, but is keen to run a clean and tidy ship, knowing there's a place for everything and everything in its place.
I've got quite a sentimental attachment because the children have bought me this. Adam, Michael and Katie have bought me for birthdays or Christmas or special occasions. They've each bought me a dancer.
Wendy takes pride over her orderly home, so when John's mammoth collection of football programmes started taking over the house, things just had to change.
The majority was kept in this bedroom. A lot was over here up this corner, so I couldn't move. At times I had to climb over the bed to get out the bedroom.
So just how many football programmes does John possess?
Approximately 4,900 programmes in here.
They ended up creeping downstairs into the dining room.
Having to clear the house of his precious collection, John found the answer in storage.
Wendy was very pleased to see the back of them. I think the flags came out and celebrations up and down the street with it.
However, after paying for storage for a couple of months, Wendy thinks enough is enough and it's time the programmes go for good.
It's OK for a few weeks, a couple of months, but I don't want to go on paying.
Wendy's drawn the line now and said enough's enough.
I'd like to get rid of all the storage.
Wendy is determined to be storage-free, while John wants to hang on to his collection. So, who will win the battle of the programmes? So, how long have you had these programmes in storage for?
In storage, they've been in there for about 8 weeks now.
How many are there?
Well, at last count was 4,900, but I did sell 4 the other day, so...
Oh, that's made a really big dent in the pile, hasn't it? Do you want to see them all gone?
Yeah, the majority. You can keep a few, but not a few hundred.
What constitutes a few?
10, 20 for me.
Ideally, I'd like to keep seasons, but...
How many are in a season?
About 50.
50. I mean, 50's not going to take up too much space,
we could compromise with 50.
That's for each season.
Oh, right. Hold on a minute, right. I can see we might have a little bit of trouble here. We're together versus this one. So you've got two strong women, OK, to battle with. Let's go and see these programmes then.
I can sense I'm going to have my work cut out here. Our next storage hoarder in need is Anne Geddes. She's spent £5,756 over 3 years, hanging on to mementos she can't bear to live without. And husband David thinks now's the time to tackle her habit. So how did it get so bad?
A relative or a dear friend gives me something of sentimental value. I haven't got the heart to refuse it, even though it might not be very nice.
David and Anne live in the ancient city of Worcester. Happily married for 40 years, Anne can't bear to part with any mementos amassed over this period, so she's resorted to storage.
Some of the wedding gifts may have been opened but not revisited. To be able to look at 40 years worth of items is going to be a massive challenge.
This is going to be a tricky ride for Anne as she emotionally attaches herself to her possessions.
We keep all this stuff because people have given it to us and they might come and visit us.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think that's just an excuse. She gets attached to things. I mean, just for instance, I bought her these chickens, okay? Now, they're not expensive, but they're unusual and they're different. And she dropped one by mistake. And it was a major trauma. I call her Squirrel Nutkin.
Anne may well be a squirrel, but when it comes to hoarding, David isn't so innocent either.
Prevarication is our middle name, quite honestly, in our relationship. I have good David and bad David always talking to each other, and the bad David always says, Scarlet Harry, you can do it tomorrow. You know, don't worry about it.
So what does he think they've stashed away?
Probably normal things, household things. Probably going to be amazingly surprised what we do find. So I'm looking forward to that now, actually.
It will be a huge relief to have that closure and be able to say to ourselves, right, we've cleared our feet and the next phase of our lives we can look forward to.
Can I help Anne disentangle her affection for possessions and downsize her unit of memories?
So, what have you got in this storage unit?
A lifetime of being married, of about 40 odd years. So it's going to be a mixture right from the start of wedding presents, right through to furniture we've accumulated or inherited.
So when did you last see your stuff in storage?
Well, some of the items we haven't seen for a long time. You know, that's part of looking into these boxes now.
Do you think there's some things in there that you've completely forgotten about?
Yes.
I think it's almost certain, yes, yeah. We might even start crying when we open some of them. Part of it is Anne is the hoarder, Squirrel Nutkin as I call her. But it's my laziness to a certain extent, because really it should have been my job to get this sorted years ago. Oh. And that's gone on for about 20 years.
Do you want to get rid of the storage unit? Is that the purpose here?
Yes.
Brilliant. So
yes, we're determined this is it.
Excellent. And do you think there's anything there that you will definitely want to keep?
The only thing I want to keep is Anne. The rest can go.
Oh, people, not possessions.
That's what I'm going to try and remember.
Right.
So, do they have any plans for the money they might make?
We were thinking it would be nice to retake our vows.
How lovely. So we've got a really nice goal to go for.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
OK, let's get going.
OK.
Good.
We've met our storage hoarders in need of my help. It's now time to prise open the doors of their units and sort the truly memorable from the trash. Coming up, relationships are put to the test when husband John is reunited with his collection.
You know, you just want to hold on to it as long as you can, really.
They've got to go.
David gets careless with his rummaging.
I think I just dropped something fragile.
But will it all come good at auction?
OK, well,
Here we go.
You're all done, 85.
Welcome back to Storage Hoarders. I'm here in the Midlands helping two very different hoarders declutter their lives by downsizing their storage units. Earlier we met John, whose collection of football memorabilia is driving wife Wendy potty. And squirreler Anne, who can't bear to part with the mementos she's amassed over her 40-year marriage with husband David. Later, our antiques expert Paul Hayes will take a stroll through their stash and pick out any treasures from the trash to take to auction. First to unlock his unit is storage hoarder John, a chance to get reunited with his precious collection of football programmes. All 5,000 of them. John's unit is packed to the rafters with boxes and files containing his football-mad collection, which he has amassed since he was a kid.
Charity Shield matches, that's all 1968-69 season.
It looks like John's missed them, but I can't say the same about Wendy.
A means to an end. If they get rid of them, that's fine. But I don't want to see them too often.
I was thinking it was going to be easy, but now started looking at them and going through them all again. It's going to be a bit of a wrench.
I can see how much John loves his collection, but there's no point hiding them away. Time I stepped in.
How are you doing? How's it going?
Fine. It's just a case of just going through and just showing Wendy a few of the older ones, which mean a bit to me.
John, how easy do you think it will be for you to let go of these?
Not very easy. You know, you just want to hold on to it as long as you can, really.
Actually looking quite anxious. Is that how you're feeling?
Yeah. I mean, there's one there signed by 3 players and it was actually played in the FA Cup final. That does mean a lot.
What does it mean to you, Wendy?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Can you not empathise at all?
A little bit, because I know he's a big Albion fan, so he loves the club.
You're going to do it then?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah? Should we get all the stuff out?
All right.
Come on, yeah, let's go for it. Let's start getting the boxes out.
John has collected these programmes for years. It's time to get tough and separate the sentimental from the mass. Next up is storage hoarder Anne and her husband David. They're about to come face to face with their unit, which has cost them over £5,000 in just over 3 years.
There are moments of truth, yes.
Oh, gosh.
Their unit is crammed full of keepsakes, cherished possessions that Anne couldn't bear to throw away during her happy 40-year marriage.
My life in 40 years in a cupboard.
Every item has a memory for Anne, and it's going to be difficult for this self-confessed squirrel to let go.
You're going to be all right.
Even that in itself is my grandmother's. In
well,
fact,
your mother
she
told me
bathed
you used to be bathed on that,
in
didn't
a tin bath on that.
In fact, I think I can still see the outline of your bum there, isn't it?
Thank you very much. When it was
sorry.
small.
Oh, it's small, yes, that's
Thank
quite
you.
small. That's okay.
Thank you. There's going to be so many memories.
I want to be there to support Anne and convince her she doesn't need to keep everything.
Hello there, hello. Oh,
hi.
my goodness me, you've got quite a stash here. Now, where do we start with this lot?
Well, that's...
Surely you don't want to keep this ancient television.
We'll be keeping that. No, I don't think we'll be keeping that.
Oh, let's see it.
There's an antique phone for you.
God.
What do you think that is?
Yeah, I don't think it's worth all the work. It's
brand new.
Yes.
But I haven't a clue what it is.
Do you not even remember?
No. Well, that's what happens when you get 40 years of stuff, isn't it?
I can't believe what they've insisted on keeping.
Oh, this is really useful.
That's really useful, yes. That is an antique headrest.
I just hope that among this rubble there are items of value so they can raise some money towards renewing their vows.
Let's get everything out.
Okay.
Thank you.
To help our hoarders clear their units, I want them to sort their possessions into 3 categories. Keep it for the items they really can't part with, skip it for any useless pieces, and sell it for the bits that could bring in some cash. I've also included a charity bin for those items too good to chuck. I want our storage hoarders to get tough with their stuff. They have just 3 hours to sort through their possessions. I've arranged some extra hands to help move all their items to a larger space so our hoarders can see exactly what they're dealing with. John's pile of football programmes looks pretty manageable. However, Anne and David's 40-year stash is a mountainous bulge of sentimental pieces.
Feels very strange, doesn't it?
Well, this
you know,
whole
to
room
have
is
our whole life sort of laid out in front of us, you know, and the different sort of decades and eras and some of the fashion. I can't believe some of the horrible stuff that we use.
If only this was a Fabergé.
Yes.
It's been a gift.
If that was a Fabergé, we'd be out of here right now. Yes, they can have the lot. It's beautiful, isn't it? What's that?
It's a present.
We'll have the stuff people give us and we haven't a clue where it comes from or how valuable it is.
Oh. In order to categorise her hoard, Anne needs to separate the impractical from the sentimental.
I'm enjoying seeing quite a few of the items that I'm opening up already, bringing back some really good memories. But if they've been in a box for those number of years, I don't need them.
That's what I like to hear. Now let's start building that sell pile. Although it pains him to do so, John is breaking the back of his treasured collection.
That's the 67 League Cup final.
So that's special?
It's not that special to me, we lost, but it is special to probably to a QPR fan. It's just a general sell. That's 67, 68, that was the year they won the cup anyway.
So that's important.
That's over there.
His sell pile is growing. I want to find out if there's money to be made from them.
So, all looks very calm here. You got everything sorted?
I think so, yeah.
Good. So, what's this?
This is the valuable stuff. And that one is with Jeff Astle and George Best. I'd like a valuation on that because autographs I don't know. There's the one with Preston North End from 1954. Because you got the ticket with it as well.
How much do you reckon? Or would you hope?
With the ticket, probably about £80.
£80, that's a lot of money. Looks like John could be sitting on a collector's gold mine.
How does it feel to imagine that all this is going out the door?
Sad in a way. I think it'll be worth it, won't it?
Yeah, well worth it, hopefully.
I'm really proud of John. And what about his keep pile?
Oh, it's weeny. Just this.
Just this little bit.
Have you got any idea exactly how many pieces are there?
Probably about 20.
Only the 20.
Choosing to sell the majority of his collection is a massive achievement for John. He's only kept a few of his very favourites, and I have an idea how best to showcase them and keep house-proud Wendy happy. I've arranged for John, Wendy and their daughter Kate to go and meet upcycling artist Sue Thorne from Reclaim to Fame. Upcycling is the process of taking something which is disposable or discarded and turning it into something valuable, useful or aesthetically pleasing. I wonder if John would like his favourite programmes decorating a piece of furniture in their home.
Okay, so this is my workspace. This is where I tend to produce most of my reclaimed furniture pieces and paintings. Okay, can I have a look at some of your programmes? Excellent. Are these all of them?
No, there's a few more.
A few more. It's nice to preserve some of these images, so the reason why I produce a lot of furniture and artwork like this is to be able to use these nostalgic images or these things that are like family keepsakes, but be able to have them in the home so people can appreciate them and they can be more of a talking point.
But does wife Wendy approve?
That's a brilliant idea, because John does enjoy looking at them and he'll have them there all the time then.
Okay, this is one of the units that I've made previously. It does involve some football programmes already, so it might give you an idea of the type of thing that I could create for you. So have you got a piece of furniture in mind that you'd like me to upcycle?
Yeah, I think mainly with the computer desk, which is where I do a lot of work on the website, so that would be ideal for that.
Okay, I'll do my best.
So John's decided on an upcycled computer desk made from his favourite football programmes. Brilliant. I'm sure it will take pride of place in their home and I look forward to seeing it later.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it does turn out. It'll be something different, and hopefully when my friends and my brother-in-law comes round on a Saturday, he'll have a look at it and he might be ordering one himself.
Back at the storage unit, David and Anne are continuing to sort that massive stash of memorabilia, and they're doing a grand job, not hanging on to things they don't need.
When do you reckon the last time we used this stuff?
I would say it was in the 90s.
Well, that is 20 years, isn't it? 22 years.
Oh, gosh.
Would you like to keep that, dear?
No.
I don't even know what it is.
A think we'll skip it.
Yeah. Skip it.
And Anne's discovered some biscuits that have been sitting in storage for over 3 years.
That must be out of date. This is from Germany. Must have been our
biscuits.
Christmas. I think they'll be massively out of date.
Oh, quite nice.
For the skip pile, I think. And Anne's unearthed one memento that definitely won't be going on that pile.
So, Anne, I believe you've got something to show me here.
Well, I've found these at long last, and now this is a blast of the past.
Can't wait.
Because we're looking at 1976.
Oh, you look gorgeous.
That was us in the registry office.
How romantic is David?
Very.
Is he?
Very romantic. Loves giving me surprises of little gifts.
I imagine you're keeping those pictures.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I am, yes. I'd say it was a very happy day.
What wonderful memories for Anne and David to have found locked away. With only a few minutes remaining, our storage hoarders sought the last of their stash.
These are keeps. I'll put them here just now.
All for specialists.
Specialist.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need a bigger box. Good Scottish whiskey.
Both our couples have done a great job sorting their hoards into keep, skip and sell piles. And Anne's defeated the squirrel within with a healthy sell pile.
I think the most brilliant thing is the keep is that tiny little
mound
bunch
in the
of
corner.
cartons in the corner there.
Oh, my goodness.
And we're sort of left, we knew the big stuff was all going for sale, but it's all the smaller stuff that would have been lovely to find again, bits we didn't know we had,
fantastic.
And bits of wedding presents and everything. So really looking forward to Paul maybe telling us, you know, if there's any value or such like it.
I also found, Aggie, the painting that my grandmother had done, and this was actually painted on glass. I think they call it a Crystolium, but I may be corrected by Paul on that. But it is unusual.
So amazing, your grandmother did that. Wow, you've got such an interesting range of stuff, haven't you? It's amazing.
Well, hopefully, yes. I
No,
mean,
you really do. It's just it's like an Aladdin's cave here.
Let's hope their decluttering efforts are handsomely rewarded when they take their chosen items to auction. Coming up, John finds out the true value of what he's been hoarding.
I was very excited when I saw this.
And we see how Anne and David's history bears under the hammer.
45, 50, 55, 60. I've got 65, 70 in the room.
Welcome back to Storage Hoarders. I'm here in the Midlands helping 2 hoarders to downsize their units and declutter their lives by choosing to keep, skip or sell their stash. It's now time to catch up with football fanatic John and his wife Wendy. He's been collecting football programmes for years and has made the bold decision to sell the majority of his collection.
I've never known him be football programme free, ever.
I want to find out just how much his programmes could be worth, so I've asked antiques expert Paul Hayes to scour through his sell pile and give his honest opinion on John's prized collection.
So, Paul, not too much of a variation for you today.
No.
Just basically the football programmes.
I mean, it's a very collectible market, actually. People do go for these vintage collector's items, things like football programmes, football shirts, medals and so on. Is it mainly programmes that's here today?
It is, yeah.
Right, OK. I mean, are they in any particular order? Are they sort of by season or by game or finals?
They're by season.
Right. Well, that's really important because I think when somebody is looking at them, to have a complete season is obviously better than buying individual ones or going through a box and trying to pick out the match against Man United in April 1973. But I do know that you won the FA Cup in 1968.
Correct.
And I can see the year there, 1968. Have you got anything really fantastic from that? You haven't got the match ball or anything like that? Or?
No, unfortunately. I would like that, but I've got the programmes signed by 3 other players.
That's this one here, obviously, all the signatures on.
That one.
Right, so who's on this?
That one is there. That's Jeff Astle, George Best, who actually, he did come along and play for him.
Wow. So we both looked up then, didn't we? George Best, that's the name in football, isn't it? So would it be fair to say that this is really the holy grail of the sort of West Brom to the year, 1968?
Yeah, it would.
Right, so that's a very important piece. So are they all this calibre? Are they all sort of rare items like this?
More or less, yeah. I've got a 1954 FA Cup with the ticket.
Who won that one? Was it Preston North End or West Brom?
Oh, it was West Brom again.
Way, there you go.
3-2.
So did you buy this yourself?
Yes.
And when did you buy it?
A couple of years ago now.
And how much did you pay for it?
Maybe £25, £30.
OK. And, of course, you've got one here as well, which is just seen 1948, 1949.
That's right.
Very early in the football world.
Yeah.
There can't be many of those around, so
No.
I can imagine that's where the collectors would go for. Well, I think these have a very niche market and a very local market. I mean, we are not a million miles away from the football ground, so you'll have all the collectors, I should imagine, are in this particular area. So I think what we'd need to do is to find somebody who specialises in memorabilia to do with West Bromwich Albion, football memorabilia, and see if we can get a bid. My gut feeling is it would be somebody would want to buy the rarer ones.
Yeah.
And maybe make you a good offer on those.
To get a sense of what value is in this collection, Paul has arranged to take John and his family to meet sports memorabilia specialists Danny Drury and Robert Adcock.
Wendy. And Katie. All right.
If they like what they see, they might make John an offer. The craze for collecting football memorabilia started in the 1960s, and its popularity has spread as rapidly as the game itself. Collectors tend to pay the highest prices for items that were used by legendary players. Pellé's number 10 shirt, worn for Brazil's 1970 World Cup final victory, sold at Christie's for a staggering £160,000 in 2002. So, what about John's collection?
Right, well, we're here, hopefully. I mean, John's decided to, well, I think Wendy had a say in this, but John's decided to offload his programme collection. If you were coming across John's collection, and is this quite a good collection he's got?
No.
No? Oh, dear. So what is it about? Are they too late to the
Most of it's too late, yeah.
I mean, John obviously has gone for his passion, his team. Is that important when you're looking at collections? I mean, do people go...
Yeah, very much so. I mean, people will collect their club, or they might collect a theme, like FA Cup final programmes, which we've got there as well.
Oh, right, OK.
Most of the collection that we've found at the moment is from mid-60s onwards that don't have a great deal of value, unfortunately.
Right.
You know, the collector really wants the older stuff before 1965.
Unfortunately, football programmes dating from the last 40 years are generally valued fairly low. The most sought-after versions date from the late 19th century, but pre-World War II programmes are also desirable.
As an auctioneer, then there are the only programmes of any value are sort of the 1960s or before. 70s, 80s, 90s, you're going to be lucky if you get 10p each.
And what's that like to hear, John? That hurts a bit, doesn't it, I think?
Slightly, yeah.
So what would be the best way forward for John, then, in this situation, though?
I think to maximise the value for himself is to go onto different internet auction websites and sell through there. And, you know, if you can sell them for 99p each, it's obviously going to get a lot more money than going through an auction house where you're just not going to get the kind of money he's probably paid out.
I mean, there are a few programmes I can point out that do have some value. This for instance, I mean, retail price or an auction price to a collector, £60 to £80, because you've got George Best, Jeff Astle and John Osborne. Those three players are not with us anymore. That's what makes it worth the money. I mean, we've got a programme over here. I was very excited when I saw this originally. I thought, yeah, original programme, 1931 Cup Final, it's worth £400 to £500. However, this is a reprint.
Oh, you're joking.
The real big key is on page 3, it says reproduced and distributed.
There you go. It can't be that obvious, John.
You've got the Cup Final programme.
Yep.
1954. Instead, you've got the programme there, which is selling for £25, £30. The ticket's worth just as much.
Right. So that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one, with the ticket. But it's not rare. There's plenty. If it was rare, it'd be 200. But it's not rare. It's only worth 25 quid.
Well, it's not all bad news, as some of John's programmes could be worth a few pretty pounds. But the best way for John to make the most of his collection is to take it home and sell it online. Sorry, Wendy, looks like they're coming back with you.
I've resigned myself to the fact that I got a feeling it was all going to come back anyway. So I got no expectations. I guess this would happen.
I disagree with some of the valuations there, but on the whole I did find the chat really interesting, especially when going back about the older programmes.
Back in Walsall, John's gearing up to start selling his beloved collection online. And what better way to do it than from his appropriately decorated computer desk, which has been lovingly upcycled.
The computer desk is something original. It's a one-off. It's just full of memories of the Albion. But it's nice to think that some of the programmes have actually been turned into something where they've been a bit useful.
So what does Wendy think about John's little corner of the house?
It's lovely to look at, and it is personal to you. Nobody else will have one like it.
And more importantly, how are the programme sales going?
The idea was to get rid of the programmes. It didn't quite happen. Since the actual process started, I've probably sold somewhere in the region of about £400 worth. It's getting there slowly, but it's getting there.
It's fine having the programmes in there now. I mean, they are catalogued better, they've been put tidier, so it is a bit of a compromise. The programmes are there to stay. Although John's selling a few, he's not going to sell them that quickly.
So with the money trickling in from his programme sales, are the proceeds still being saved for that 30th anniversary?
If he come in and said it was just going on West Brom, I think I would have to cancel the anniversary and divorce.
Time to catch up to see if John's had any success selling online. I hear there's some good news.
I believe you've been doing a bit of selling on your own with your programmes.
That's right, yeah. I've recently just sold about 30 programmes. They all went for £150.
And how did you do that?
That was purely through my website.
Oh, right.
And then I carried on. And then today, I've just heard that I've just sold another just five programmes for £200.
Wow, so in fact you were right to hang on to them after the valuation, weren't you?
Yeah, because I think the valuer was wide off the mark.
Do you have any idea of how much you could possibly make as a total for your programmes?
Minimum about 2,500.
Minimum 2,500?
That's for every programme there.
So what are you planning on doing with the money that you've made from the programmes so far?
I think that's down to Wendy. She can decide on that because she's had to suffer it, so...
It's our 30th wedding anniversary next year, so that's where the money's going to go from.
So you're putting it in a little safe spot?
Yeah.
That's lovely. So get selling, because the more that comes in, the bigger splash you can have.
Yeah.
That's it.
So have you managed to give up your storage unit?
Yeah, we've taken everything out of storage now.
Yes, because I'm back in my dining room now.
Are they back in your dining room now?
Yeah.
Golly, how are you feeling about that?
It's not too bad because they're stored properly, so we know what we've got and where they are.
Oh, excuse me, we know what we've got. All of a sudden, it's a joint effort. I suppose that's because the proceeds from this joint effort is something that you'll share.
Yeah, it'll benefit both of us.
John was successful selling some of his programmes online for £150. And with today's news that he sold some more for £200, his total online sales amount to £350. And now he's no longer paying for a unit, he can add his yearly saving of £780, which means John and Wendy are now over £1,100 better off. What a save! And who knows how many more he will sell. But there's one programme going to a rather special home.
Just to say as a little thank you for your help.
Whoa!
Because of all the programmes I've got, we've actually got one there, which is from the year you were actually born. I tried to get one as near to close to the date of your birthday as I can, but...
That is so beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's such a beautiful colour. And the design and... Thank you so much. That is really, really lovely of you. I'm really grateful.
Coming up, have Anne and David been sat on a fortune all those years?
Gosh, I mean, if it was a Rennie Macintosh chair,
yeah.
you'd be on a fortune.
Neither of us would be here.
No.
Bid 50, 55, 60, 60.
And will Anne be able to part with any of her beloved items and make some cash at auction?
Excellent. Happy with that?
Yes. Yep.
Welcome back to Storage Hoarders. Earlier we met John Nichols and wife Wendy, who were tackling John's massive collection of football programmes stacked up in storage. Specialist advice ruled out selling them at auction, but instead John's having success selling online.
I've just heard that I've just sold another 5 programmes for £200.
Wow.
They've now given up their unit and John is continuing to sell online using his newly decorated desk. Now it's time to catch up with Anne and David Geddes. Squirreler Anne and her reluctance to let go seems to be the main blame for their hoard, which has accumulated over 40 years of marriage.
I didn't realise I had quite a bunch.
No. Antiques expert Paul Hayes has been spotting gems for the past 10 years. He's had a good rummage through Anne and David's possessions and has found a few items worth closer inspection.
Well, I must admit, it's a real Aladdin's cave in here. I love it. There's things from all eras, all sorts of backgrounds. And you've got a great coffee set here. Do you know who's made that? Did you recognise that one?
I think that one is Susie Cooper.
That's exactly right. It's a Susie Cooper coffee set. And if there was a name really in the Art Deco period, Susie Cooper is the one.
I love that. I absolutely love it.
And the nice thing about this set, it's complete. It's 6 cups and saucers. I think you've at least sort of 60 to 80 pounds in that lot. And then what the items are on is a nice extending table. Now, was this an old family table? Or
Yes.
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 It's a good Scottish table. This
Yes.
has got
It is.
wonderful blonde oak. Again, 80, 120. Realistically, is a good auction estimate, I think, for that one.
Okay.
And we have a beautiful lady, we have several beautiful ladies in the room today.
Just got that in time.
Just behind you, David, this one actually jumped out at me. This is called a Crystolium.
Do you know that was painted by Anne's grandmother?
Really?
Yes.
OK, well, normally what you would find with these, they were mass-produced items, and what would happen, you would get a really good artist would make the painting itself, and then somebody would paint the colours at the back, so that may be what she meant. She actually added the colour to the picture itself.
And how much is she worth?
If you wanted to sell it to auction, you have to be realistic. It's better to be realistic, sort of 50 to 80, something like that. If you wanted to sell it, I think she's a limit.
Right.
So this is one of my favourite items. It's a good quality Georgian bureau. And what I think's fascinating, this dates from maybe 1790, 1800. So has Mr. Darcy sat here and written his letters? Who knows? It could have been Jane Austen. That's done. But for me, it's a wonderful period, the Georgian period. 4 or 5 years ago, they were 300 or 400.
Yes.
10, 15 years ago, there were 700 or 800. It's honestly gone that way.
That's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. If you did want to part with it, it's 100, maybe 150.
So Paul has found some interesting pieces among Anne and David's hoard, but nothing of great value. However, he suggests the items to go to auction are the Susie Cooper coffee set, valued at 60 to 80 pounds, Anne's grandmother's Crystolian painting, which Paul has valued at a realistic 50 to 80 pounds, an antique extending table estimated at 80 to 120 pounds, and Paul's favourite item, the Georgian bureau, valued at 100 to 150 pounds. But there's one rather special piece David wants Paul to take a closer look at. Has David been sat on an original Rennie Mackintosh chair all this time? Charles Rennie Mackintosh was a Scottish architect and artist. He was one of the pioneers in the arts and crafts movement around late Victorian times. Some of his works have been known to fetch a fortune.
I had an uncle who was James Cooper Rennie, and his grandmother was Winifred Rennie, and she was a very creative woman. And I knew she had some sort of distant relationship to Rennie Mackintosh.
Right. Well, if it was a Rennie Mackintosh chair,
yeah,
you'd be on a fortune.
Neither of us would be here. Yes, I'd be gone. I'd be down the M6.
To shed some light on David's chair and give an idea of its value, Paul's taking them to local antiques expert Paul Burrows. He specialises in Georgian, Regency and Victorian furnishings. If this is a genuine Rennie Mackintosh piece, Paul will be the one who knows.
It's beautifully carved. A spinning chair, is that how you would describe that, do you think?
A spinning chair is fine, all chair is fine, but it's a decorative chair. I can see here that there's numbers 782, and oh look, under here, there's 782 again.
Ah.
There you go.
That would identify that they were establishing that section to be associated with this section here.
So that could be there's 702 of them. At least.
There could well be, but let's just have a look at the design of it. I think that the carving was machine done.
Right, really?
And then finished off by hand. I don't think for 1 minute it's anything to do with Rennie Mackintosh.
I've discounted that.
I think that's part and parcel of a line of manufacture.
So sadly, Anne and David have not been sat on a Rennie Mackintosh chair all these years. But it's still a nice piece, so what's it worth?
Is it the sort of thing you're wanting to sell, and is it the sort of thing you're wanting to buy, really, Paul?
I think, from my point of view, it's commercial to a limit.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not got any deep values, and I think the value would be more with you than it would be in a commercial selling point of view. So I think if you looked between 130 and 150, I think you'd be more realistic.
So now we know. But will they be putting this chair up for auction?
I really love this chair, so I'm actually quite pleased. I know it sounds silly for a Scotsman to say that, but I'm actually quite pleased that it's not worth a lot of money, because I would like to keep it.
Yes.
It actually means a lot more to me now than it did before. Because I know...
You mustn't sit on it.
No, I mustn't sit on it, no.
We've now come to the auction rooms to see if Anne and David's hoard will fly when the hammer falls.
So you excited about being at auction now?
Very much so. Nervous.
Yes, we had a wander around looking at other furniture, then we spotted some of ours, and actually it took me by surprise. It was quite a strange feeling, seeing furniture you know well.
Yes, out
sort
of context.
Sitting with all the other, yes, that's it, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did it make you think, oh, I'm not sure I want to let go of this?
Oh, no, I decided it's all going, yes.
Although I hesitated when I saw the Crystolium.
Did you?
Lovely, I just saw my grandmother there, and I thought, oh, should I be doing this?
Did you think, I must put a big reserve on it?
No, I'm afraid the other side came out sort of thinking, no, I've got to be hard on this.
Good for you.
She's done well, yes.
That's really good.
So now Anne's come to terms with letting go. How does today's auctioneer, William Rouse, think their items will fare?
David and Anne have got a number of things in the sale today. There's some furniture, there's a picture, so we've got a bit of variety here. Some of it will sell, I think, well, some of it possibly not so well. There is brown furniture sometimes can be a little bit problematic these days, but we sometimes get some really good results, and the sale is a very well-viewed sale, so hopefully some of it will do pretty good and we'll get it out the door.
Well, he's feeling positive. Let's hope the bidders are in the same mood. First up is our expert Paul's favourite piece, the Georgian Bureau, estimated at £100 to £150.
Excited?
Yes.
Hopeful?
Yes.
Hopeful.
Well,
hopeful.
Semi.
Yeah.
Yes.
£50 for it, please. Bid 50, 55, 60, 65. £65 it is then for a Georgian Bureau. Doesn't seem a lot of money at 65. 70 I'll take at £65. You're all done and finished at 65. No interest, I'm afraid, sorry. Not sold.
It's below the estimate. Not a good start.
No, it's not, David. Well, let's hope the extending table makes a better impression with its estimated value of £80 to £120.
There we go. What's it worth? Start me £50 for the dining table. 50 I'm bid. 55, 60, 65. £65, 70, 75. £75 then, 80 in front of me. 85. We're nearly there, but not quite. At £85. At 85, you all done. 85.
We're back down again. Back down again.
So the first two pieces haven't sold. Let's hope it's third time lucky as the Susie Cooper coffee set takes to the floor with its estimated value of £60 to £80.
This 1950s Susie Cooper coffee service, and I'm glad to say I'm straight in here at £40. I'll take 45. 45, 50. 50 with me on the left bid of £50. 55, thank you, in the middle. 60 behind you. 65, 70.
Oh, that's still...
That's better.
75. 80. £80 for the lady then, in the scarf at £80. Anybody else? I'm going to sell the lot. £80 it goes.
£80?
Good.
That's good now, isn't it? Third time lucky. Excellent. Happy with that?
Yes.
Yep.
At last, a sale. The coffee set reaches its upper estimate, which just leaves the Crystolian portrait painted by Anne's grandmother. Paul valued it around £50 to £80, but what do the bidders think?
Quite hopeful about that.
Yes.
So you've got a reserve of 50 on it.
More positive about that.
OK, well.
Here we go.
This is different as well, isn't it?
And I'm glad to say I've got some interest straight off in this, and I'm straight in at £45. 50 is the next bid, with me at 45, 50, 55, 60. I've got 65, 70 in the room. £70 in the room then. Anybody else? At £70 then, I'm going to sell it for 70.
Well done, that's great. That's pretty healthy, isn't it?
It's mid to the high end of the range.
That's great.
That's better.
That's
I thought that would go. Yeah, because it's lovely. It's a lovely piece. It's lovely.
Sold for £70. Paul was bang on the money and their last item has sold.
What did you think of that then?
We didn't make very many bobbies today, I'm afraid. I mean, the brown furniture didn't surprise us.
Brown furniture nowadays, nobody's really interested.
Nobody's buying it.
And the two things that went, the Susie Cooper tea set, that's really pretty. That went for £80. I think that's a really good price. And the Crystolium went for 70. And the unit, downsized?
The unit, yes, we now have half the space in the unit that we had before.
Think there'll be a day when it's gone forever?
Yes, yes, we're starting to make plans now.
I mean, the whole point was to get rid of it, and we will. We will.
So not a bad day at auction, which after commission has netted them £138. But most importantly, Anne has realised it's okay to start letting go. When Anne and David do eventually close their unit, they'll be saving nearly £2,000 a year. And if that's not good enough, David has rediscovered his family seat.
Not a fantastic amount. I mean, although you may have a plan for this money. Any ideas?
We did have a big plan. We were going to the Caribbean, weren't we, to renew
renew
our
our
vows.
Yeah.
So that'll probably just about get us to St Pancras.
Well, it's always a help, isn't it?
It's a start.
That's right. It's a small step, isn't it? And, of course, the money you're going to be saving on the storage unit.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yes.
That's very true.
Yes.
Every month.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. The positive way to look at it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Our couples today had completely different storage habits, but fortunately, both have had successful outcomes. Don't forget to join me, Aggie Mackenzie, next time on Storage Hoarders.